Okay, so we took the deck back to locals this weekend. I have kind of changed the list up quite a bit, to be honest. One of the major things about this current list is I've kind of conceded the fact that we should probably just play over 40, because for the longest time with this deck I was trying to keep it as close to 40 as possible, if not just flat 40, which is kind of what I went with for the first couple times that I had played the list. And don't get me wrong, that is definitely like mathematically one way to look at it, but if you watch any of Leo's videos, 037 Wolf, then you can kind of just understand his logic. And I kind of just decided, you know what, we'll just try something that's more akin to his strategy and deck building and just see how it goes. And honestly, the deck ran really well, but unfortunately I ended up with a 2-2 record, so I'll quickly go over the tournament report. And it was really just, my losses were just kind of things that there just wasn't a whole ton that I could do about it. It was just variance. It's just the cards just weren't in my favor, to be honest. But overall I did like how the deck ran. It's 49, but it would have been 50. I just don't have a third copy of a particular card in question that we will get to in just a little bit. But anyway, as far as the tournament report goes, round 1 I played Invoke Dogmatic Shadal. I believe game 1 he ended up with like Mechaba, like 3 back row, and then like Ecclesia with Fleur, and my hand was like fine. My hand was honestly insane for going first, but he just had too much stuff. So I think I ended up like committing my normal, and he like Mechaba negated it. I don't exactly remember what happened, but I do remember just being like, yeah, we'll just go to the next game. He just had too much stuff. So in game 2, I just went full combo. If you watch my combo video, I basically just did something very similar to the Junk Doppel combo, but I don't believe that I did it with like starting with Junk Doppel. I got into the Doppel later. But yeah, I made Majestic, Crystal Wing, Hot Red, and Herald, and he just like couldn't beat me because I had like hand traps and shit too. And then game 3, he actually ended quite lackluster. I ashed his Alistair, and then he just made Artemis, summoned Ecclesia, set up back row, and passed. And then on my turn, I drew the fucking Fire Ant for turn. I'm still citing these Gamma Seals because people like to play Dragoon and shit at my locals, so and like it's good against like the Appaloosa, but we'll talk about that more in the side deck section. But I opened with the Gamma Seal, and I drew the Fire Ant, so I Gamma Sealed over his Ecclesia, but the punishment was honestly just too strong with the way that my hand was constructed. Like, I just only had access to one non-tuner, which was Doppel, but he just blew it up and I had no follow-up. He like popped up a punishment. I just like couldn't do anything. So that was kind of unfortunate. Either way though, he was holding Nibiru, and I don't think, I didn't have a way to beat that card anyway, so it's unfortunate. But I digress. Round 2, I played against Dinos. I won that one 2-0. There's really not a ton to talk about with that matchup. We kind of just ended up sweeping. Game 2, I like stunned him down with hand traps where he couldn't really do anything, but I also couldn't kill him. So we grinded for like 2 turns. And the fact that I actually like made a minor misplay, which just prolonged the game 1 turn. I didn't realize that Shen was both players. So I went to like normal Junk for Converter to go into the Junk Warrior, and then climb into Crystal Wing to like just have enough for lethal. But I didn't realize that this fucking banished my guys. So I just ended up with like, I think it was like Dragster, this thing, and like Junk Warrior in the extra monster zone. But so that sucked, but we ended up winning out anyway. He didn't have anything. The Shen was actually quite impressive for him as well. So yeah, that was that. We 2-0'd that matchup. And then round 3, I played against Tri-Brigade, the Tri-Brigade Cat deck. So I went first. I normal summoned Junk, and I had the Caligo and shit. Like, I had a lot of ways to play through like an Ash or a Veiler and stuff, but because I think he like Ash like a Converter, and then I went to normal Junk and he gammed it, and that was like the single one hand trap that I couldn't play through. So I passed. His gammas go bye-bye, and then he goes Desires, and I'm just like, yeah, we can just go to the next game because there's just no way I'm gonna get out of this one, unfortunately. So we played game 2. I went full combo. He lost, and then we played game 3. He normaled Cat. I think I like impermed it or something. I don't exactly remember what happened. No, he normals Cat, and then he goes Activate Effect, sends it to grave, and I ashed him, and then he set a back row, and then I just OTK'd him. He didn't have anything. His one backer was Revolt. If he had normal Cat and just made Almirage instead of being greedy, then we would have had an actual game. But, you know, I just kind of did my best to, like, maneuver around any potential hand traps that he could have had, and we won that one out. 2-1 my favor. We did the Excel play a lot. In a lot of these matchups, we did the Excel play with Doppel before going into Speeder to get the Herald up here, which is really clutch because a lot of my opponents just attacked it, and I Cyber Synchroned, and it felt pretty good because no one knows what that card does. So round 4, I played against Geist. This was kind of just another unfortunate one. He wins a die roll, and I just couldn't play through all of his shit. Then we play the next game. I full combo him, and that's that story. Then we go into game 3. He makes me go first, and I'm just like, okay, that's, like, sure, that's fine, because all my sideboard was like Evenly's Twins and Duster. That's all that I put in, and I'm like, okay, sick. So I open with the Dawnwalker, pitch Doppel, summon Ants, and then go into Chaos Ruler, mill another Doppel, and I think that was it. Yeah, just it was a one Doppel, a converter, and then like all spells, I think. So I normal junk, special back Doppel, he lets it resolve, I'm like, okay, sure. So Speeder, and then he Veilers on the, or he imperms on the Speeder. He didn't have imperm Faker, but he impermed my Speeder, and I got the 2 tokens. And just the fact that I didn't have access to this card just completely shafted me. Because I thought about it later too, and I was like, maybe if I made the Excel play, he wouldn't have impermed. And then I asked him, like, hey, if I made Excel, would you have impermed there as well? And he goes, yeah, I would have impermed the Excel because you already showed me that the Excel Doppel play leads into the Herald before Speeder. So he would have used it then, and I still would have been kind of dead in the water. Granted, with the Excel play, I could have at least like made a Dragster or something, but there's no way. Like, his hand was stacked on top of that with like strikes and shit. So even just ending on just a Dragster with the Chaos Ruler just like really wouldn't have done anything. So I was kind of damned if I do and damned if I don't. I really just need to mill this card off Chaos Ruler and then I win the game. Because he Veiler Speeder, I have 2 tokens, and then we Tribute Speeder, send Illumination, you know, level mod, go into Excel, then, you know, do all the things we want to do. We don't have to level mod, we just make Excel and then go into Shaman and proceed to play. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. I was just really just needed access to this card in that hand, and I could have played through the Imperm. And you know, that's something that feels really bad about this deck. Is like, you know, we've worked really hard as a community to try to make it so we're not just dying to one hand trap, and then it still happens in the last round of the tournament in game 3. It just, dude, it felt so bad. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty fucking salty. But you know, that's just the way it goes. It was just variance. I just didn't get there. The ruler didn't get me there, and my hand wasn't geared to get me there. So, you know, just not really a ton I could have done about it. And then of course, like the round 1, I just couldn't play through the punishment. You know, drawing the ant didn't help. Maybe my sideboard was a little bit better. I only put the Gamma Seals in because I knew that if I Gamma Sealed his Ecclesia, then he's off 1 negate still. So I was like, that's got to be worth it, right? I sided in a lot of cards against that guy. But, you know, we'll get to that whenever we go to the sideboard, like I said. But all in all, I feel like the deck performed very well, but it's just, you know, unfortunate that I couldn't get access to the starter's Synchron in that last game. Which, again, is why we will always include 3 of this card, because it's just so important to have 3 of both of these so that we can just like maximize our consistency for like not only just ruler to mill both of these in tandem, but also just opening them and just all of it, sending for Excel. It's just so important. You must play 3 of these. I don't know why people just decide to preach this play 2 and 2. I don't understand that, coming from the guy that went 2-2, but you know. Anyway, so then we got, of course, you know, the Dawnwalkers. This is just the 1 card ruler. I'm still not completely sold on the Psy Reflector shit. Don't get me wrong, I know it's insane. It's something that I'll probably test next is cutting Arrive in Light and really grinding out some with the Psy Reflector stuff. But you know, a lot of this stuff will just never change. You know, we play triple of all of these cards. The Crow, obviously, just being able to help you push past stuff. Not really a ton to say about this stuff. If you want explanations, you can either watch Leo's channel or watch one of my older videos if you want. And then we got the one-ofs. We got the Ant, the Carrier, the Cyber Synchron, the Mud Dragon, and the Converging Wills. This stuff was still fine. I don't know, man. Every time I play this deck in tournament, or really just play it in general, I never seem to have an issue with either of these cards. So, I don't know. I just understand what the quote-unquote, like, major drawback is to this as opposed to Reflector, because Reflector can guarantee you a lot of interruption by himself, like just through activating teleport like mid combo. Even not even just using it as a starter, it can guarantee you like extra interruption. But this kind of serves the same purpose as well. So I don't know. I'm not trying to say one or the other is better, but I just haven't run into problems with this. So yeah, I still like this stuff. It's definitely good. But again, like I said, I'll probably take it out and try Reflector E-Teleport with 1-for-1 again and the bricks. This card though, I want to cut this card, but every time I think about cutting it, I leave it in, and then I play the tournament, and it comes up. This just comes up so much. Not even just its actual effect, but the ability to set it off Excel and make him a 7 or a 3 comes up a lot, because if you make him a 7, then you can make Omega with a token. If you make him a 3, sometimes you can close out your end board with an Omega or a Crystal Wing with like your Librarian. So I actually didn't summon Librarian a lot this tournament, but I felt like every time I had the chance to go into Librarian, it was just kind of greedy, so I didn't bother. But yeah, I don't know. I want to cut this, but maybe I'll just do it and try it without it. But it just comes up a lot. Same thing with the field spell. I still play the field spell, and every single time it always comes up. Like I draw it and it bails me out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I start with my opening 5 and it's in there and it always bails me out. So I don't know. It's still inconclusive on that one. Hand traps. This is just going to be the same lineup as Leo. I think this is perfect. The imperms were definitely a good include on his end, because it's just something also main deck that you can draw into with Librarian and set. So like we're not like post side, you know, putting in strikes and stuff. That's one thing. But this is something that is not only like good playing into boards and stuff, but just like, you know, it's good setting up and whatever. It's just broken. There's really, it's just good. So obviously the only downside is this isn't a tuner hand trap, which is like the draw of these two. And you know, just upping the consistency to 9 slots, especially when we're going above 40 already, it just seems like kind of a no-brainer. It just gives you that, you know, higher chance to open 2 hand traps. And then I actually play 1 nib because this build we're trying out Designator. I don't know, I'm kind of inconclusive on Designator right now, but the idea with the Designator lineup is like I'm already playing these cards just for like general purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like these are just good, so we're going to include these. So like the last thing we really lose to is Nibiru and I guess Gamma, but you know, I thought about playing like 1 Gamma with the Reflector stuff because you can teleport it out and like get a level 2, but I don't know. I never drew the nib, so I don't know like how it is like actually just opening the card, but I never actually had to use it off Designator either though, but it's just there because this is like the last thing that can really blow us out. But you know, sometimes we can even just play through all of these cards, but you know, obviously against the Ultrageist player we couldn't play through the 1 imperm. And it sucks too, I forgot to mention this in the turn report, it sucks too because the following turn my draw was Designator and I was just like, god damn it, that sucks. So spells, we got tunings, we got overtakes. This is just like your, you know, your generic stuff. It's just tutor stuff for you. Overtake is just insane. Double fossil, I need to play 3 of this. I'm like straight up, I just need to play 3 of this, but I don't have my 3rd secret. I didn't want to play a common, so I just played 2 instead. But yeah, no, this is really good. This was something that I definitely was immediate, like I saw this in one of Leo's most recent profiles and was like, yeah, no, I should just play this. And almost even warrants playing Power Tool with 3. A buddy of mine was trying that out. It's pretty good, but I don't know. It's just, you know, the space in the extra is very tight. You want to have the utility and toolboxiness still there. So I don't know. But yeah, no, this was insane. This card was absolutely nuts. It's kind of just like another overtake. It's another Kligo Clawcrow. It kind of fills that same role. And again, like I said, I definitely do want to play 3 of this, but that's not even the card that we would make 54. It would be this because I only have 2. I could only get 2 before the tournament, so I was like, fuck it, we're just going to play them with the called by, because effectively at that point it's like playing 3 called by again. But this, honestly, like I said, is inconclusive because I only got to use it once, and it wasn't even like on my turn trying to combo. My opponent, the Tri-Brigade guy, impermed one of my guys. I think he tried to imperm the Shooting Majestic, and I had this as my back row, so that was nice. That actually was pretty good. Like I said, it was a turn too late against the Altergeist player, so I don't know. I digress. But it was good. Don't get me wrong. And like there was hands where I did open it, but didn't need to use it. That happened twice, I think. But you know, I set it as a back row, but it didn't come up as like an interaction, except for that one time against the Tri-Brigade guy. But yeah, all in all, it was good. It was a nice insurance policy. I think it's fine. The problem, of course, was like where do we find room for this and like plus text to play it, which is kind of why I just went with like just the nib. And like I said, I was adding the imperms anyway, so like imperm Valor, like the 2 strongest hand traps against this deck. And then of course Nibiru being like a very good follow-up if we can play through that for our opponent at least. So yeah, I mean, Designator is pretty good. I don't know, it seems like this card just needs to go down in price just because it's like just okay, I guess. But I can see like the appeal when you're playing like something like a Tri-Brigade, like a 40-card Tri-Brigade deck, and like you just play your engine and like Desires or something, and then just like this and a bunch of hand traps. Yeah, that seems pretty insane. So, but as far as Synchrons, it was okay, it was good. I liked having it. So we got all this stuff and the field spell. I probably will take this out and make this the Living Fossil. But like I said, I don't know, man. This card just puts in work sometimes, dude. I don't know. It's very hard. I don't want to go over 50 because I still want to have like some sort of semblance of consistency going here. So I'm unsure. I don't know. Illumination without Trail was fine, to be honest, because it just ensures that I always have the start of Synchron for the setup on the following turn. But, you know, obviously Trail makes this a lot more powerful, but I mostly just play it as an alternate target if I drew one or the other, you know what I'm saying? Like if I drew this one, I can search this one, or I drew this one, I can search this one. Oh, and real quick, I forgot to mention this while I was recording, but I side out the entire Arrival Light package alongside the Field Spell and the Synchron Carrier a lot. I also sided out the Living Fossils as well a few times, just to free up just some easy slots. We take that stuff out. However, we do leave in the Illumination because it has a lot more value than the Arrival Light stuff games 2 and 3, but I just wanted to throw it out there. That is usually what I typically go for siding out. And the level mod is very valuable, so I definitely wanted to include it as well. But yeah, that's the main deck. Again, like the only thing I would really change would make it 50 and add this and maybe cut this and play the Living Fossil. But as of right now, I'm pretty content with the deck. It definitely performed very well, but again, like I said, there's not a lot I can do about some things in terms of variants. Extra hasn't really changed. Speeder, Celestial, Metal Marcher, Herald, Excel, Librarian, Junk Warrior, Stardust Charge, Dawn Dragster, Crystal Wing, Omega, Chaos Ruler, this guy, Hot Dragon Archfiend, Shen, and the Shooting Majestic Dragon. So here's the thing about this extra deck. I think everything in this extra deck is perfect, but I want to play Quandax. Because I feel like a lot of the times when I went into my Librarian, when I did actually summon it, the Quandax kind of could have just put me over the edge, not only in terms of like card advantage, but just like sequences that I could perform. But the only card that's really cuttable is this, and this puts in a lot of fucking work. So, or actually, like I could take this out for Satellite whenever I put the E-Telly stuff in. But even then, it's like, I feel like I want everything else, right? There's nothing else really that could go except for just this for the Quandax. But I don't know, like I said in my last profile, I didn't really miss Quandax a lot, but this tournament, I felt like maybe that extra draw could have gotten me somewhere at some point. But, you know, like I said, I didn't even really summon Librarian alone anyway, because I feel like it's kind of a greedy line to go with when I could just guaranteed have like the 4 negates with like maybe 1 or 2 cards in hand, possibly 3 if we do it with Junk Doppel without being interrupted. So, I don't know. Definitely something that will have to be tested as well in the next coming weeks. Sideboard is not a ton to talk about. We sided the extra 2 nibs just because like nib is just like good. And then again, I'm not too sure how I feel about this, but there's a lot of Dragoon. And there's like Appaloosa and shit at my locals. This is good against like Sky Striker and shit too. So I don't know. I'm not too sure how I feel about this one. This could probably come out for like the Solemn Strikes or maybe even the Judgments or something, just for like an option for going first. But I don't know. Like my whole theory about the deck is like our going first board is so insane. I feel like when I know I'm going first again, I don't need to sideboard except for like maybe Twins when I know for sure I'm playing against something like Ultrageist or some sort of back row matchup like that. So kind of inconclusive. These were like okay. Like I did this to the Dogmatica guy and I turned him off a negation, and I did this to, I think that was it. I don't remember. I think I only used it once against that because I never drew it against the Tri-Brigade guy because I just was like, yeah, if he makes full combo, then I got to put this in with like backer removal. Then we have a Dark Ruler. This never came in because I never played against a combo deck. So, you know, whatever. It was like fine. But, you know, the idea is there. It's good. It's good. The fish guy wasn't there. God forbid that fucking guy shows up. Harpies, Twins, and then the Evenlies. And obviously this was originally the third nib, but I just put it in the main deck for the CROSSOUT Designator. See, this is another one where I'm like, man, I don't really know about this card. Like, I almost wish it was Lightning Storm, because I always draw this really late, and like I already have cards. Like, I always draw this like turn 3, and it just feels so bad. So I don't know. It's definitely good because, again, it's like there's a lot of Dragoon. There's a stun player there. I guess the Dragoon doesn't really matter in terms of this, but mostly the stun player with the fucking Waking the Dragons and shit. My God. But yeah, it's nice to have. You lose the battle phase and then you set up 4 negates, so it's like seems insane, but I don't know. It's definitely something that can come out as well. So really, the only thing about the sideboard is like maybe no Evenlies and maybe not the Kaijus as well. Maybe even like debatably like maybe the Nibs. But like I said, there's a decent amount of combo, even though I played no fucking combo at my locals. So I don't know. It's rough. 2-2 record's rough. Losing to variants is rough. So that's it, though. That's what I got, guys. Let me know what you think about the list. CROSSOUT was fine. I'll get my third. I'll test it some more. And come back at you guys with another video on the list. Like, comment, sub if you haven't. I'll leave all the links down below to things like Discord, Twitch, and so on. I haven't streamed on Twitch in a while. I just haven't really had time, so... And I might as well just leave a link to Leo's channel as well, since I bring him up so much, so you can go check out what he's kind of working with. Because him and I are on sort of opposite ends of the spectrum, where he plays like Cyreflector, I play Arriving Light. Kind of like really sold on Arriving Lights, not really sold on Cyreflector, and he is the inverse, so you can kind of get the two conflicting opinions there if you do want to go check him out. But anyway, see you guys.